Good afternoon, everybody. We are here, everybody. We have made it. It is officially Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl 56. The Rams at the Bengals, but not really. They're still in LA, but the Bengals are the home team today. Joined as always with my boy AJ. What's going on, dude? What's going on? You happy for Super Bowl Sunday? Hell yeah, I can't wait. As it's like Christmas morning all over again. Whenever the Super Bowl Sunday rolls around, it sucks that our teams didn't make it. But man, the teams that they've got playing today, it should be a good game. I think the thing that always sucks sometimes whenever you're watching a Super Bowl and you're not invested really in either team because you're not necessarily a full-time fan of those teams per se. Sometimes the Super Bowl could sometimes be a little bit boring if it's one of those defensive struggles or just a blowout. I don't think we got to worry about that today, man. I think we've got a good game in store, and I think they're going to score a hell of a lot of points. But first things first, something I alluded to as we came in there, man. So obviously the game's played in LA at SoFi Stadium today. The Rams, that is their home stadium, but they are not the home team today. The Bengals are going to get all the home team luxuries. They're even getting the locker room of the Rams. Like, the Rams won't even give up their locker room. They've got to go to the other locker room. Sorry, please. I apologize to everybody out there listening. AJ could not be heard during that time. Just to bring everybody up to speed, I could hear you, but the obviously people listening couldn't. Technical difficulties. We're working that out as we go. So you're saying that both locker rooms are still nice. You've been there. They've got you were talking about the bolt in the Chargers locker room. Then they have we were saying the dong-shaped nose with the Rams head on theirs. But they're both nice locker rooms, right? They're NFL locker rooms. Now, if you're the Bengals, though, do you wear your colors or do you wear your whites?
I mean, if I'm playing, it don't matter to me.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
the I mean, to be honest with you, the Bengals white uniforms look better than their home uniforms, anyways. When they do
Mm-hmm.
all white, it
Yeah.
looks nice. I think that's something though. You see it even throughout the year. Like, the home team can choose which uniform they wear. I mean, you see the
Yeah.
Cowboys wear whites at home all the time.
Correct.
So, um, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think. I mean, you would think the Bengals would be like, hey, like, you're at home, take your locker room.
Keep your locker room.
We'll wear our black uniforms. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think it matters.
At least there, to your point, like earlier, when the people couldn't hear you, and again, apologize, man. We got to get that figured out. That's now, I think, twice that we've been doing the show that I've done that. Hey, it makes things interesting. The people watching, all two of you guys out there, I appreciate it. You guys can fill in the blank for AJ there. Whatever you thought he was saying, that's what he was saying. Unless it's
Wah,
something,
wah, wah,
unless
wah.
unless it's something bad. If you're thinking he was saying something bad, that's not what he was saying. Do not come after us with that. But dude, I think it's super crazy, man. The Bengals, it's just such a weird thing to like go into their locker room. I guess with it being SoFi Stadium, it's a brand new stadium. They're both badass locker rooms. I would still wear my colors. It is what it is. But it's not like they earn the home field thing. Like, it's they alternate between AFC and NFC each year with that. So I think that's a little weird. But it definitely was a strange thing to me that they would be going into the Rams locker room. Part of me as like if I was like the Bengals, I would be like, no, we're gonna take the Rams locker room. We're gonna put them out of their own locker room and
Just
just to
some
shake things up, and keep it that way. Wear our colors and go from
just
there.
some psychology going on there.
Correct, correct.
Some mental warfare.
Yeah. Now let's shift to the game here, right? I mean, obviously the home team luxuries, that's all for fun. At the end of the day, that doesn't mean shit, right? It's still very much a home game for the Rams. They're in LA. Now, as far as like if that's one of the most like rowdy crowds in the NFL, I wouldn't say that per se. But I mean, it's still a home game for them. But switching over, to like I said, the actual game. This is the first Super Bowl appearance for the Bengals since 1988. They've experienced one of the longest droughts in the four major North American sports, having not won a playoff game since 1990 prior to this season. Joe Burrow's been getting a lot of comparison to Joe Namath, aka Joe Cool, How do you feel about Joe Shiesty taking center, for the Bengals, going into this game? How do you feel about him, man?
I mean, what other second year quarterback has the freaking swagger of that dude? He's got ice in his veins. Kind of reminds me of Patrick Mahomes. Not like the way they play, but just the kind of the mentality they come with. Like, hey, I'm here to win, and it doesn't matter what else. I mean, he didn't even show up to accept his comeback player of the year award. I mean,
It's
none of the
focused.
Bengals were at the award show, so it shows the focus that they have. Um, I think, I mean, Burrow's got more weapons than Stafford does. Quite honest. I mean, and that's saying a lot because Cooper Kupp is the top receiver in the league, but I
Mhm.
think the between T Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Mixon, if that offensive line can hold up, which is going to be really interesting, I think they'll be just fine. They got to get the ball out of his hands quickly.
Yeah.
Um, they like to throw the ball downfield, let plays develop, but they have to start off with some short routes, get the ball to the tight end, get the ball to T Higgins on some short routes, get the ball and in Jamar Chase's hand, however they feel, run the ball, make the Rams, you know, not stack the box and blitz and blitz and blitz. You got to be able to let Joe Burrow get a little bit comfortable back there. But I assume that's the Rams' game plan, man, is
Yeah.
throw different blitz packages, let Aaron Donald and Von Miller work down there and get after the quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Sean McVay, dude, I think the only way that I'm beating Joe Burrow at this point is to throw everything but the kitchen sink at him, right? The Bengals offensive line has over the course of the season proved themselves not willing or not able, to hold up to some of the best pass rushing. They did great in the AFC Championship game. I want to give them some credit there because I was ragging them pretty hard going into the AFC Championship game because of how poorly they did the week before against the Titans. Which I mean, dude, it's crazy to think that the championship game was only 2 weeks ago. It feels like years ago. It took so long to get through that shitty Pro Bowl to here. But I think that they're going to have to throw everything at Joe Burrow and that offensive line. Don't let him get comfortable back there. That's going to be the key. If they start letting him get comfortable, then they're going to get Jamar Chase downfield. T. Higgins going to be, you know, doing his thing out there. And, another receiver that is kind of getting a little bit overshadowed on the Bengals that a lot of people I don't think are talking about is Tyler Boyd. The Bengals had, other than the Tampa Bay Bucks, the Bengals are the only other team that had three receivers with over 800 yards receiving on the year. Tyler Boyd had 828, not a killer year, but when you're lining up next to T Higgins and Jamar Chase, that's pretty damn good. In my opinion, but I think that if they let him sit back there and get comfortable, like Burrow's going to piece up this defense. They're going to obviously throw away from Jalen Ramsey. They're not going to really throw to him much. I think depending on who Jalen Ramsey covers is going to depend on who really eats in this playoff game. Like if they have him shadowing Jamar Chase, then T Higgins is going to get a lot of looks, man.
So, from what I understand, the way the Rams run their defense, Jalen Ramsey stays on his side.
Mm-hmm. He
So,
doesn't normally follow and track with the receivers.
yeah,
So then
that's what I understand.
then it's going to probably equal opportunity for everybody. Then it
But,
sounds like on that offense.
but I mean, that's what happened last week. You watched Jamar Chase get doubled and triple teamed, not last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Last week
And
we
guess who got
saw only the only
that's the
person to get
worst
a hit last week was Alvin Kamara.
worst Pro Bowl ever.
That thing was
Yeah. Oh
terrible, man.
God. Oh God.
But
Yeah. No. So T Higgins did really well 2 weeks ago because of Jamar Chase not getting the ball. So and so did Tyler Boyd. Tyler Boyd
mm,
got some touches.
yep,
So I think if you start the ball off or start the game off, run the ball, play action, get the offense comfortable, make sure that you're keeping the defense honest, because that X factor for the Rams is Aaron Donald and Von Miller.
mm,
Von Miller's looking like his old self. I think he's got like 9 sacks since he started playing like 7 weeks ago or something crazy like that, which is insane. I think I think the Rams are surprisingly hindered by their offense. Cam Akers brings a whole other element to that offense,
Mhm.
but I think the Bengals defense is really underrated, and they don't like you don't talk about the Bengals defense because they don't have like any big names,
Yeah.
but that Hendrickson dudes
Yeah.
is legit, and they all like play their role right. Like
Hmm.
they're kind of like the Patriots defense where you don't have all these stars, but they all do what they're supposed to do. They don't get out of position very often, and they make plays when they need to make plays. Um, I'm rooting for the Bengals. I'm going to call the Bengals, by 3 on this. I'll say like, 27-24. I mean, the freaking Simpsons predicted the Bengals to win this game. So,
Nah.
um, you know,
If
time
they,
traveling,
dude,
they know.
the Simpsons are practically the Illuminati. They've predicted everything, man. Like they really have. What's crazy is you go back over the course of like their shows. So maybe they're onto something. There's this dog I follow on TikTok. It's this. He sits at the top of the staircase, and the owner
Yeah, I saw him.
throws him like little balls, and he air buds that shit down into like some laundry baskets, and I'm pretty sure he's got a great track record, or else he probably wouldn't be as famous as he is on TikTok.
I
Uh,
watched one of them where
he
he didn't call it correctly.
he called Bengals for this one though, and he called
Yeah.
Bengals over the tide. He called the Bengals all playoffs long in their games. So I think that dog's onto something. I think you're right there. And we can get into that. But let's switch over to the Rams. We talked about the Bengals offense a little bit, or before we switch over to them, we haven't really hit on all of I don't think the Bengals side of this, and I'd like to see that one of the persons that we're forgetting about too. The Bengals, dude, it's crazy to think about how much like firepower they've got on their offense, and I feel like nobody. I'm not saying nobody's giving them a chance per se, but this whole week and past 2 weeks, I feel like I've just heard everybody, oh the Rams, this, oh Matt Stafford, this, oh Cooper Cup, best receiver in the league this year, oh you know Cam Akers is back, which let's not forget Cam Akers fumbled to give the Buccaneers a chance. So I don't want to hear that shit either. But like everybody's talking about the Rams, and they've even got the Bengals sitting at 4-point dogs right now. But we haven't even talked about all of their offense yet. We've talked about their three receivers, two which are just out of this world, and one of them obviously a top 5 pick, played with Joe Burrow in the at LSU, now with him again in the pros, as a rookie, broke the franchise record for receiving yards this year. He had second in the NFL, I believe, in yards per catch at like 18 yards per catch. Third in the league in touchdowns as a rookie, dude. Insane. But then that all overshadows the guy that they've got sitting in the backfield. Not too many teams right now have an actual feature back versus like a committee type situation. And, we're seeing a feature back with, the Bengals and Joe Mixon. He had 1,200 yards this season. That's third in the NFL. And 13 touchdowns. That's fourth. And he had 60 first down runs. They keep the chains moving with this guy. Joe Mixon, I think, keeps a lot of drives alive for him. And to be honest with you, I think today's MVP may go to him because I think everybody's going to be so focused elsewhere that he's going to get a chance to really eat. Then you come down to
Yeah.
their kicker too, man. I mean,
How's Uzama? Is he healthy?
I'm not sure if he's healthy. Let me look real quick.
It looked pretty bad. Like it looked like he was done, but Uzama's a big piece of that offense too, kind of a safety blanket for him. So with Joe Mixon too, what people forget is that offensive line is so bad. If they run out of the shotgun, it's important for Joe Mixon to be able to pick up the blitz packages and pick up those those blocks. He doesn't have to hold the block. He just needs to clip them, stop him from getting to Joe, give Joe an extra second.
Correct.
With Aaron Donald down there and I mean, keep saying Von Miller, like, dude, those dudes are a legit threat against that offensive line, and that's the scariest part. If I'm a Bengals fan, I'm like, God, please block Joe today. Like, just let him throw. Give him at least 4 or 5 seconds. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, give him 3 seconds even, because if he's dropping back and getting hit, this game's going to be over before it starts. But also like you got it's like you get one or two Super Bowls. You either get like the overly aggressive offenses, or you get the Patriots a couple years ago when they played
against the Rams.
against the Rams, where it was the worst Super Bowl I've ever
Yep. It
watched.
was the
Where
lowest back in 2018. The Rams and the Patriots had the lowest scoring Super Bowl in history. The final score was 13-3.
so, and
The
that's
Rams
and
lost.
that's what's interesting is you talked about it earlier. Everybody's on the Rams are like, oh yeah, they got Cooper Kupp, OBJ, they got Cam Akers back, and they got Jefferson, they got all these dudes, but they forget that those dudes were hella inconsistent throughout the season. I mean, OBJ is kind of coming into his own, but he's a big play threat. So you shade a safety over him. The big threat for them is Cooper Kupp, and he's not 100%. A big play threat. He's a clutch play threat. Like he catches the balls that you're like, dang man, he was open, like because he understands the defense so well. And Stafford has not been perfect this year.
Yeah.
I like Stafford a lot. He's a Dallas boy. He's from Highland Park, but I don't think he's perfect. I don't think he's, they're talking like the Rams are this juggernaut, and the Rams like squeaked into the playoffs. They were struggling throughout the year. They barely beat the Cardinals at the end of the season. And the Cardinals were not doing very well at the end of the season. They are not unbeatable. And like, I would be like, hey, if the Packers were in this, like, it's a wrap. The Packers got this because they felt unbeatable all season, but the Rams felt beatable. Now they're trending the right way. Obviously, they're in the Super Bowl, but
I feel like both teams you can say they're trending in the right direction. All teams had to win 2 to 3 games to get here. Both these teams won 3.
But how many times have you seen teams squeak into the Super Bowl? Like they're 100%. Like, oh man, we barely got in there, and then they get schwacked. Like they have gotten hot. You know what I mean? Like they've figured their offense out. They've been more creative. Yeah, Cam Akers almost screwed the game up for them, but Cam Akers has become an X factor for them that they didn't have. I mean, yeah, Sonny Michel's nice, and the other Henderson's nice, but Cam Akers is electric. And coming off an Achilles injury, he looks like that. Pretty impressive. And you get the yips. I mean, these guys, you see these guys get the yips a little bit when they come back off injury. So I imagine. What happens is those running backs, they haven't held the ball in a long time. Like they hold the ball too tight and they lose the ball. You had to hold it just right. It's kind of a field thing. So I think that's not going to really be a factor. It's going to be like, to me, it's that offensive line of the Bengals and then a balanced attack from the Rams. If the Rams don't have a balanced attack, I think they're going to lose. If they go straight, if they get stopped on 2 or 3 plays on running and they start throwing the ball, they're going to lose. Because I think Stafford is good, but man, he throws interceptions and he makes bad plays, and they try to force it and they go 3 and out. That's, to me, that's the game plan. Like to me, it's like protect Joe.
Correct. Yeah, that's got to be the game plan going in there, is to protect Joe Burrow, and then everything else is going to fall into place. Switching over to the Rams side of the offense, we've already kind of switched over to them though, but like just something that's interesting to me though is that both QBs that are playing are both number 1 picks in their respective draft class. Both overall number 1 picks. It's just crazy to see the feast or famine side of the NFL if you really think about it. It's mind blowing because you've got Joe Burrow, who's in his 2nd season in the league, which you can make the argument that this is basically like his rookie year because he got hurt after 6 games in last year, right? So this is his first full season of play, and he looked pretty good before he got hurt last year. But 2nd season in the league, takes his team all the way to a Super Bowl, and on the other side, you get to see the famine side of the NFL, and that's when you are drafted number 1 overall, and you go to a place like Detroit, and basically waste 12 years of your career with them. Because think about it. Matt Stafford spent 12 seasons with the Lions. He played in 3 playoff games with them and lost every playoff game. He's now
the Cowboys.
1 season with the one season with the Rams. 3-0 in the playoffs. Looking to make it 4-0 obviously today. His first ever Super Bowl appearance. He had career highs this season, 67% completion, and threw for 41 touchdown passes. Only Tampa Bay's Tom Brady threw for more. He threw for, I think, 43. I mean, and to your point, it's because of performances from like Cooper Kupp. And then you got to remember they had Robert Woods earlier in the year who was playing pretty well as well, then went down with injury. They added OBJ, who at first was a little slow, but came on as he started to learn the offense. So I'm with you. I'm on the Bengals train as well today. But I honestly wouldn't be upset to see the Rams win. Just see Matt Stafford get him one. As a Packers fan and seeing him play against the Packers as long as he has, following his career like I have, just because they've had to play him, 2 times a year up to this point, it would be nice for him. Maybe a little bit of, my thing is though, is if you're Matt Stafford and you win today, do you have like a what if? Like, what if I left Detroit 6 years ago? Like, what could have happened?
He's got what? So what's funny about Matt Stafford is, I'd like to look at the stats, but just going off the top of my head, like he's had 2 seasons this year and the record-breaking season for Calvin Johnson, where he had receivers that were almost breaking records, right? So Cooper Kupp almost broke Calvin Johnson's record of most receiving yards in the season, and guess who was throwing him the ball?
I didn't even, what's funny is I wrote that record down for note for the show today, and I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that they had the same quarterback for that.
Yeah, it's been Stafford both times.
So what you're saying is Calvin Johnson ain't shit, and neither's Cooper Kupp. It's all Matt Stafford.
No. I think Calvin Johnson's top 3 receiver of all time. I mean, it just sucks that he played for the Lions. They both played for the Lions for so long, and it sucks for those 2 dudes. Could you imagine, those guys on a team that actually had their stuff together? Like they made the playoffs with the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive enough. Like, imagine if they, they were. I mean, anywhere else but the Jets and Lions, I mean, they would have been just fine. And it's crazy. I would love to see Stafford get a dub here.
Oh, 100%.
I also, and what irritates me is like everybody's like, well, Burrow's got all these years. He's got all these years. Stafford, this is one of his last chances. Like, shut up.
Stafford is a prime example that you don't have all those years. He spent 12 years, and this is his first time.
It's like, this is a professional league. They're all professionals. It's hard to make the playoffs. It's hard to make the Super Bowl. Yeah. And as a competitor, you have to think this might be my only freaking shot to win one.
Yeah.
And because you could end up like Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and have 0 Super Bowl wins.
Yeah, and people people making that statement of, Burrow's got all these years to win it. They truly don't understand the capacity of longevity in this game. Like,
I mean, look at Aaron Rodgers.
Correct. Yeah, he's been there. And he's won Super Bowl that he's won. And I believe it's the only one he's been to. Yeah, it is the only one he's been to. And that was in 2011. It's the way I see it is like, it's like, yeah, he's got many years left maybe in the league, but you've also got to think too. We just mentioned a minute ago, this is kind of like his rookie year. It's not his rookie year, obviously, because he was here last year, but he went out, halfway through the year, not even halfway through the year. So we talk about Lamar Jackson and how teams have started figuring him out and he's struggling because of it. Burrow, I think, will be a little bit harder to figure out. He's not the one-dimensional running quarterback. He makes good reads. The quarterbacks that are making more reads and dissecting defenses and not running it around, I think they've got a better shot at the longevity and better shot at adapting and not getting, quote unquote, figured out. You know what I mean? But at the same time, he's just going to develop more tape, more chance for people to figure it out. And it also is the Bengals. Let's not act like they haven't not been to the playoffs since 1990. Neither of us were born the last time they won a playoff game before this year.
That's crazy. Well, too, like to your point, the Bengals, like that ownership, like before this year, if you would ask me the worst organization in sports, well, okay, let's not go with sports, but the worst organization in the NFL,
100%.
I would have said the Bengals. I would have no doubt said the Bengals, because these dudes don't even have an indoor practice facility. They're playing they're practicing because it's so cold in Cincinnati. They're practicing at University of Cincinnati's bubble field.
Yeah.
Minot State University in North Dakota, D2, puts a bubble over their field for the winter. And you're telling me an NFL team has no indoor practice facility? That is bonkers.
Correct.
Sulphur Springs High School has an indoor practice facility.
The high school right here, that right across the street from me, they've got an indoor facility.
And exactly like what are okay, I get it. It's like you make them tougher or whatever. No, you're just freaking.
You're a cheap ass.
You don't want to. You're
you
cheap. Yeah,
you don't need to make these guys tougher. They made it to the damn NFL. These are the guys that are as tough as they get. Like some of these guys come from some of the worst upbringings and get through that to the NFL. They don't need to deal with your fucking outdoor practice facility to get stronger and tougher. Now at this point, if they go win the Super Bowl, they're gonna build them a facility at that point, or like what? Or what's the deal? Are they gonna be like point proven? I think the Bengals at this point, I think that they're gonna continue to operate as they always had, and they're not gonna get them the facilities they need. What's gonna happen is Joe Burrow's gonna get fed up with it after a year or two, maybe 3, and he's gonna be like, "Look, you don't take care of your players as you should. You don't have the facilities for us. You don't have this. You don't have that. I'm out of here." And he's gonna leave. And whenever he leaves, any attraction to come to Cincinnati is now gone, and then they're gonna be back in the dump again. The only thing they got going for him that he may stick around for anything other than that is because he's a hometown kid. But like even LeBron dipped the fuck out of Cleveland. You know what I mean? Out of that state of Ohio. Nothing against the state, so not trying to bash the state, but like the Cincinnati Bengals of Ohio just don't treat their players well. Cleveland didn't want to give LeBron help, so he dipped out of there too. It seems to be a common theme with professional teams there.
Well, I think it's a smaller market, right? I mean, Cincinnati is not a huge city. I mean, it's a big city for Ohio.
You're a damn NFL team. Don't give me that small market bullshit, bro. Like, NFL team. You're making so much money. Because even when Carson Palmer was there, you were selling jerseys.
But think about the Bills, man. Like the Buffalo Bills, they've been really good for the past couple of years, and their owners talking about moving to Austin because of the market's trash in Buffalo. And
bring them down. I need an AFC team.
Well. And the thing about Cincinnati is it's one of the the OG, like Ohio is like where football was created. Canton, Ohio is where the the Hall of Fame is. It's a football state, but they're just not like, what's the drive to live in Ohio? Like it's cold it's really cold in the winter. It's whatever in the summer. It's not. There's beautiful parts of Ohio, but like people aren't flocking to Ohio to live there. So it makes sense, but like at the same time, like. I imagine if the Bengals are able to keep Jamar Chase there and Burrow together, they'll both stay. I think it'll be a Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers type thing. Like, hey, if Joe leaves, I'm leaving too with him, or vice versa, and because like apparently some Twitter like thing said that Jamar Chase was going door to door on Joe Burrow's street asking people to sell their house to him because he wanted to live on the same street as Joe Burrow.
Jesus.
And finally somebody said, "Yeah, I'll sell you my house."
That's crazy. I mean, hey, I'm happy that they've got the relationship they do, and that's awesome. But that's
they played together at LSU, and they were really close. And apparently the locker room loves Joe.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'm not even in the locker room, and I love Joe, man. Fucking bring your gat, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like I'm on the hype train. And this is just to prove what we're saying, even what I'm about to say right here. I'm on the hype train, and the Bengals right now are my AFC squad at the moment, and probably will be for the foreseeable future that Joe Burrow is there. However, Joe Burrow has made it cool to be a Bengals fan right now. All of these new Bengals fans will, including myself, we get the fuck out of Dodge as soon as shit goes south. That the organization's not that great. I'm not really a fan of the organization. I'm a fan of Joe Burrow at this moment, and he's iced out, got the chains. their Armani shades, telling the people, they were asking him if his diamonds were real, and he's like, dude, I make way too much money for these to be
Yeah,
fake. Like, dude,
yeah.
like to be
That's
second
awesome.
year in the league, man, he's got some fucking stones on him like no other.
I I really like my AFC team is the Chargers. I really like their uniforms. I like Justin Herbert. I think he's got some swag to him in a different way than Joe Burrow does. I
Yep.
think they got a lot of promise. I'm excited to watch them, but yeah, I mean, how can you not like Joe Burrow? I mean, I'm sure there's people that hate him or whatever, but I mean, they're
Probably
fun to
Bama
watch.
fans.
I mean, they're fun to watch, and they put up some fantasy numbers, that's for sure. So I'm
Yeah.
sure they won some fantasy leagues this year.
Yep. Dude, and just bringing it home on the actual pick here with you. I know you had earlier you had said Bengals by 3, and to be honest with you, my pick is right on par with yours. Bengals by 3, and who better to deliver the game winner than Evan McPherson, man? Like,
Dude, I love that kid.
dude, this kicker is again all
Adam
speculation
Vinatieri,
here
like,
because we can compare him to everybody, but it's all about longevity. We know how quickly the kickers can go from, the shit to being shit, So,
yeah,
but this
yeah.
guy, as a rookie, broke the franchise record. 2 rookies breaking records for them. Jamar Chase, now this guy, record for most 50-plus yarders in a season. The guy's 16 of 16 for the playoffs. He set 2 game winners for him. One to send him to the NFC Championship. One to send him to the Super Bowl. Like,
And
dude's
there was
got.
no doubt he was going to miss that.
Yeah, he even told backup QB, looks like we're going to the NFC Championship game before he did that one. I don't know if he quite said that before the Super Bowl, but if he said that before they went to the Super Bowl, that's pretty
Hey,
badass.
God
And
bless him.
I think he's going to. Dude, and I just like all the random stories and just things that are coming along with the with the game, and switching away from some of the players over to the coaches. I think this is kind of cool to watch the 2 coaches that we're about to watch today too, between Zach Taylor and Sean McVay. The 2 of them are going to combine to be the youngest coaching pair in Super Bowl history. Sean McVay's 36 and Zach Taylor's 38. If the Rams can somehow pull it out, I know that they're favorites, and we're saying somehow pull it out. We're talking about them right now as if they should not be favorites. So if you're looking to bet on the Bengals, bet, because they're 4-point dogs right now. So
I want to give you a fun stat. I heard this a couple days ago. So Calvin Johnson and Sean McVay played football in Georgia at the same time. Sean McVay was a quarterback, and he won. He won like the All Georgia, like Mr. Georgia of the Year State Award or whatever over Calvin Johnson.
Jesus,
Yeah.
that's
So,
insanity. That's
hey,
insanity.
by the way, I called the coach of the year
You
on
did.
last
Oh,
episode.
Braves, huh? Yeah, Braves.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
called that.
you
I should
did
have bet
call
on it.
it.
I didn't know you could bet on those things.
Yeah. You can. And another thing, speaking of the coaches here, if Sean McVay wins, he'll also become the youngest coach to win the Super Bowl. So Mike Tomlin right now is the youngest to ever win it. He won at 36. Sean McVay is also 36, but I guess he was born later in the year than Tomlin was. And then on the other side, you got Zach Taylor, who is actually part of the McVay tree.
Yeah.
I'm finding out as we're looking through. He was the receivers coach for the Rams in 2017 and the QB coach for him in 2018 when Jared Goff and them went to the Super Bowl and they only put up 3 points. So to your point, we're talking about it earlier. We're talking about high flying offenses. Do both these coaches go into a shell this game and go conservative? Because both of them were coaching on the team that only scored 3 points in that Super Bowl.
Well, also too, like, is it more beneficial to be the student of the teacher, or is it more beneficial to be the teacher and playing each other? Because like you kind of know their tendencies. Hey, be like, hey man, I was in these meetings with McVay. I know exactly what he's going to do here, or I know exactly what Zach's going to do here. And maybe that's not the case because they've evolved and changed. But to me, McVay, they both have different. I mean, like they're both different teams. Like McVay's team is completely different
Mm-hmm.
now than it was in 2018. The quarterback's different. The only person that's the same is I think Cooper Kupp was on that team,
Yep.
wasn't he?
Yep.
Cooper Kupp was on that team, and so was Aaron Donald. But like
Yep. And that was when they had
Jalen
Todd
Ramsey,
Gurley, right? And then they signed Todd
Jalen
Gurley to that
Ramsey.
massive
Yeah,
contract
dude,
afterwards.
Todd Gurley that season
And then
though.
fucking boom down.
Well, the knee. I mean, he
Yeah.
had a knee problem. I mean,
Yep.
Todd Gurley was incredible that season.
Yep. And that's
I
why he
mean-
set the market as high as he did for running backs, because he killed it.
I mean, oh.
I
that's
think
terrible.
in your question though about the student or the teacher who gets the edge, to be honest with you, I think Zach Taylor kind of has the edge there, because to your point, he knows what McVay's going to do, or in certain situations knows what he could
tendencies,
be doing.
right?
Yeah, he knows tendencies. And Zach Taylor, McVay can say, hey, I know everything that he did while he was here, but you have to remember he was under McVay's program. He's now open to his own creative mind, so therefore now there's places that he could have adapted that McVay hasn't seen. But to your point, different teams, McVay could have adapted over these years as well. I'm just impressed by Zach Taylor's 2-year turnaround. He's got the biggest 2-year turnaround in NFL history. In his first 2 seasons as Bengals head coach, he was 6-25-1. Before they drafted Joe Burrow, they were 2-14. They're now playing in the, Super Bowl today. It's absolutely insanity. Speaking of some of those bets, man, we got the prop bets, dude, today, man. We're getting in on them.
Yeah, roll it out.
Yeah, what we got here. Let's roll through. You and I, we joined a little prop bet last minute. Shout out to my boy Hunter, shooting us that invite on it. Very first prop bet that a lot of people do. Over under on the National Anthem. For our betting card, we had 95.5 seconds. So you're looking at 95 seconds or less, or 96 seconds or more. What you taking there, man?
I have over. Just depends on who it is. I
went under, and I'm not gonna lie, dude. You know how I figured out the under on that? I sang the shit myself, and I timed it. I was at home. Oh, say yeah, and so you have to think. There's a country singer, I think, that's singing the opening, right? So you gotta think you're not gonna have the long.
Who is it?
Fuck, what was his name? I had it earlier. I don't remember his name. I just know he's not as cool as the halftime show, which we'll get to in a minute. But so I'm like, it's not an R&B singer, so you're not gonna have these long, drawn out like notes and stuff. But you will have those little down rumblings of "Oh, say," and then he's gonna go quick from there. So I sang it myself. Luckily, the kids and wife were already gone; they weren't home at the time. Really belted it out. Hope the neighbors didn't hear. But that's how I got mine. I'm coming in I came in at 1 minute and 29 seconds. I think that it was with me taking my time.
I bet over, and I truthfully have no idea. So I just know that I just know
you didn't
that
sing it. You mean?
I just know that National Anthem takes forever when I'm standing at attention listening to it. So
yeah, dude, and always hate that. Like, and I don't hate that we do the National Anthem. Let me rephrase the way I'm saying this. It sucks that the players come out and get all hyped and shit, and then you got to go through all that, right?
Well,
I would love to see them just come out hyped and then kick that motherfucker off.
What they need to do is, I think it's fine. You get goosebumps when you're in that place sometimes, but
yeah,
you need to get some cool stuff like bagpipes or something.
Oh,
just something off the wall, not or like
a
cool piano or
yeah,
something that's not the singing is like fine, but sometimes it's overdone. You're like, good Lord.
Hey, question. You've been to SoFi, right? I'm looking at I'm looking at our backdrop here of the stadium that we got on our screen here. The top, is that all glass?
Yeah, it's like a synthetic material that you can actually, it's like a video board. So they can like put art and pictures on top of it. So you'll see it tonight, I'm sure. They threw up like artwork from the game, they have like there was like a 3D rendition of the players. Like they threw Joe Burrow up on there, then Aaron cool. Donald. Like it's like a video board. So the stadium is not a roof. It? Yeah. Okay. It's like I was
curious how the flyover worked. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Like they can I don't know how to explain it. It's a canopy that's kind of translucent.
It's a projecting canopy.
Yeah, we'll something.
I was just curious if it was clear because we were talking about the goosebumps of like the when the national anthems. be honest with you, man, I get it more when the fucking fighter jets or whatever it is that they're bringing over that for that flyover.
Hey, shout out last year, Tampa Bay,
Mm-hmm.
B-52, B-2, and B-1 all flew over together, our 3 bombers. Pretty sweet.
Do you have any
Actually,
inside
no.
scoop on what's going to be flying over this year?
No idea. I had
Damn.
not paid attention to it. I've been tired, so I don't really know. So let's go to the next one, the coin
Sure.
toss. This one's
Coin
always
toss.
fun.
Coin toss. Tails never fails, baby.
Yeah, I got tails too.
You got it. You got to, man. You can't be going with heads. Who bets
Yeah.
heads?
I'm not doing it.
All right, let's see. What do you got for the first offensive play of the game?
Run.
That's what I took as well, but I think it's going to depend on who gets the ball first.
I think if the Bengals get it, they're gonna run the ball.
Correct. I think if the Rams get it, it's going to be a pass.
Yeah.
I think they're going to throw
run-
one deep to Cooper Kupp just to see. See
The-
if
so
they get the
if-
home crowd involved.
If it's the Rams, I think they'll run a wide receiver screen
Mhm.
or
And-
like a little.
If that screen is technically far enough back, you may
a
technically
run
get
play.
credit for a run.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
very
let's
good
do it.
chance. I like the chance of a run play for that first one. I think they're going to want to settle in on both sides. Team that scores first.
I picked the Rams.
That's who I picked. I picked the Rams as well. I think the Bengals are going to win. I think the Rams are going to get up by 2 scores at one point, though.
The Bengals start slow
Always.
for some reason.
Always. I think it's going to
They're
get up
always
to
coming
maybe
back.
10-0, and then the Bengals are going to go, all right, we got to get our shit together.
Yeah, absolutely.
First turnover of the game. Fumble, interception, or on downs?
Interception.
I'm going to say fumble, man. I like both these QBs too much. I think that we're going to surprisingly get a fumble from somebody. I don't know who, but I think somebody's going to let their nerves get the best of them, be holding that ball too damn tight.
I think Burrow throws the first interception.
Damn. Joe Shiesty.
I think the first half's going to be tough for the Bengals. Then they'll settle in.
Yeah. Yeah. The key for the Bengals today is going to be weathering the first half
Initial
storm,
onslaught.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then,
I think what'll happen is I think Burrow's going to get hit. He's going to be throwing the ball, get hit, chunk it up to either
it's going to be a
one of the
fucking throw.
linebackers.
He's down there somewhere.
or Jalen Ramsey because that dude's a freaking ball hawk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if the Bengals keep this, if it's a 10-point, just like 2 weeks ago in the AFC Championship game, if it's a 10, 11-point game at half, I think they're looking good. If they're down 10-11. If they're up 10-11, even better,
I mean, to me, the Bengals beat a better team than the Rams. I mean, the Bengals beat the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs are better than the Rams are. So
100%. All right, first penalty of the game, or first accepted penalty of the game, shall we say? I put the Bengals. I think they're
same.
I think they're a young team. I think they're gonna
Jitters.
I think there's gonna be the jitters for them for sure.
I think a false start or an offsides will be the first.
Yeah. And when I say the jitters for them, I'm not meaning coming from like Jamar Chase or Joe Burrow. Like both of them, like I know it's not the same, but they've played championship football at the highest level in college. I mean, the national championship in college is insane. The SEC championship in college is insane. They played both those games.
So to me, I think it's going to be I think there's going to be a big focus on offensive line to protect Joe Burrow, and
it's going to be.
I think the offensive line is going to jump because they're going to see Aaron Donald and Von Miller and those dudes, and they're going to be like, try to beat them,
pissing down their leg. I'd be scared as hell if I lined up on the other side of either one of those guys.
Facts.
All right, man. Which team's getting to 10 points first? I think I just answered this one a minute ago. I said the Rams.
I said Rams.
Yeah, damn, we're pretty much on tip for tat so far.
We'll see the next part,
other than the National Anthem, and that's because I did a little bit more research than you did.
I just know it takes forever when I'm standing out there. So.
Will either team score during the last 2 minutes of the first half?
Yes.
I put no.
No.
This is why. I think what's going to happen is I think it's going to be low scoring in the first. I think the second half is when the scoring is going to open up. I think the first half is going to be low scoring. And I think whoever gets the ball in the last 2 minutes is probably going to be working fairly deep in their own zone and not going to want to take any gambles. And I think we're not going to see a
so to me, this is completely random. So I just said yes.
I just played complete scenarios in my head
Yeah,
and just
yeah,
like, oh yeah, this is the way it works in Madden.
yeah, yeah.
So
I always score at the end of the first
but
half
if it's
in
me that has the
Madden.
ball, I'm scoring. I don't care if I'm on the one. I'll be on the 1 yard
Yeah,
line, pinned deep.
chunking it deep.
Vontae,
I,
fly route, go.
yeah.
Max protect. All right.
Let's see.
All right. Here we go. Moving on to the halftime show. So as everybody's aware, halftime show this year: Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar. Literally the best Super Bowl lineup since Janet Jackson showed her titties.
They need more than 15 minutes though.
100%, dude. Like,
I
it's
think
not
it's only 10 minutes.
Yeah, dude, it's not enough time for them. But I think that this will be the best show since Janet Jackson showed her boobies when we were like 8 years old.
Hey, to be man, to be fair though,
I remember
Prince,
seeing that. That shit was so funny. My parents were like, oh.
Hey,
I was like,
it blacked out though, like immediately.
I saw it just in time. I was watching that shit live, baby.
That Prince halftime show was damn good.
That one was good. I did enjoy that.
Rest in peace.
Oh yeah, R.I.P. to Prince. I would have to say that and it wasn't Prince though. It was Justin Timberlake, and he did it.
No, I'm saying the year after or a couple years later was Prince's halftime show. That was my favorite one.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of. I think my most favorite one in recent history is gonna be the Justin Timberlake one, and now here
that was last year, right?
It was when they went to Minnesota. Not last year before last.
2 years ago, yeah.
Or something like that. But it was when it was at US Bank when they had just opened up the Minnesota Stadium.
It's a really nice stadium too, by the way.
The reason why I like that one the most, and the reason why I said Prince a minute ago on what I was confusing what you were saying, was with this one because he paid homage to Prince.
Yeah,
at the Minnesota on Purple Rain, and he played it on the piano, and he was behind like this so purple curtain was like around him as he was like singing. It was, dude.
Well, I think Prince is from Minneapolis.
He is. That's why they paid homage to him on it. It was, dude. To me, one of the coolest things. Like I'd never really listened to much Prince before then, and I went and listened to a bunch of his shit after that.
It's good. Some good stuff.
It was a good cover. But yeah, Snoop, Dr. Dre, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, Kendrick Lamar. These are the performers. Dude, not enough time for these guys to fully get in a good enough show, but it's still gonna be badass. Nonetheless, prop bet that we got on this one: which song will be performed at the halftime show? Now, what's weird
first at the halftime show.
Is it performed first? Okay, perform first. Perfect. So the options we had to choose from were Still Dre, The Next Episode, California Love, Family Affair, or Other.
I said still Dre.
They
always start off with that song.
I wanted to say Still Dre, because that's what they've been doing with the trailer.
Music video,
I went with California Love. They're in California, and I think that's going to be how they come out. California, get your hands up. And then, California Love. Ooh. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? And then it's going to keep going.
Hey, you're really showcasing your music ability today.
I secretly wanted to be a musician. Just playing. I did not.
You want to be a skateboarder, right?
I don't think I wanted to be a skateboarder either, man.
Like Tony Hawk.
I played Tony Hawk on the PlayStation. I did not. My skateboarding was not very good. I did try. I did own a skateboard and a good one. I went to like the actual skate shop, got like the good trucks, all that, the good bearings to where your wheels spin real good.
I bought one at Walmart, man. I was broke.
Yeah, man. R.I.P. I had the Walmart one for a little bit, but all them real skateboarders know Fast Forward was where it was at. That's where you got the good shit. And you can spin that wheel and just keep going. All right, moving on. Next one. Will all 5 performers team up for a song?
I think they have to, right?
I said no.
No?
What song are all 5 of them in?
They're gonna sing somebody's song.
Nah, bro. I don't think they. So this one was a tricky one though. Is like, do they team up for a song? As in, do they all play on that one
I
song, or are they considering like if they chop and mix people in
no,
from their different
I
songs? I didn't count that.
I think it's gonna be they're all gonna be on stage doing something together for a song.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Like I'm
I
not
think
saying
here's why I don't think so, because I think that Mary J. Blige, she's very much different, not completely different genre, but very different compared to the other four. The other four are rap artists. Mary J. Blige, she likes to get singing and shit. I think they're gonna put her up like with a piano or something by herself, and she's gonna be like the relief for all the old heads that don't like rap.
well, so the thing, so it's gotta flow some way. It's gonna be 10 minutes, so they all can't like jam out a song. So I think it's gonna be like two or three together, boom, boom, and at the end they're all gonna be like on stage together with doing something.
At the end, they're gonna come together and they're gonna cover Black Eyed Peas, "Where's the Love."
Yeah, they need to is what needs to happen. Or
Damn.
yeah, dang. All right, what's
All right,
next?
next one. Let's see. How many songs will be performed during the halftime show? Nine and a
Said
half.
under
I went under as well. Now the
I don't
only
even
way
know
that
9.5 songs.
there's no way it goes 9.5 because to your point, they got 10 to 15 minutes. How the fuck are you gonna do that? Now the only way that they play more than that is if they literally do like one verse from each song.
Which they might.
Which is
there's no song.
possible, seeing as they've got 5 artists. They're gonna have to finagle some way in there to get them all in there. It's
I think it's gonna be the amount of songs that was on the video,
yeah, which I don't know how many that was, but
like 5 or 6.
gotcha. Um, to be honest with you, I'm really excited for this halftime show. I think they nailed the lineup. We'll see how the execution goes, right?
Why can't they do like college? Just do 30 minutes
Yeah,
for the Super Bowl.
there's that. But like my thing is like, did we really need all 5 of these for this Super Bowl? How about Dr. Dre and Snoop for this one because they're both from LA? Then
Eminem
next year we'll do like Eminem and Kendrick Lamar. Then Mary J. Blige and somebody else. I Mary J. Blige, I like her, but honestly, like, I could do without her in this.
Get it?
Yeah, I mean,
She's got a good song though.
she's got yeah. I
One
mean,
good
she's
song.
got some, I guess, and I think I've
She's got
been
some soul.
yeah. I don't know. I'm glad we got a good lineup because sometimes they fucking stink with the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah,
However,
the Katy Perry one was terrible.
oh god, yes it was.
It
And
created a lot of memes though.
Lady Gaga was kind of bad too. I was not a fan of her.
It was. I disagree.
I think it
mean,
was cool that she came in from the damn
She
rooftop though.
she freaking repelled in. That was awesome.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you do something that cool at the beginning of the show, it's only downhill
Hey,
from there.
I think what I'd like to see, they did it for the Cowboys playoff game was Luke Combs. Let's do that again.
Dude, and give him
Yeah,
30 minutes.
Yeah, dude, he crushes it.
Dude,
Whatever he does, he can.
So here's the thing. The reason why I say give him 30 minutes. So Luke Combs, you said he played the Thanksgiving game for the Cowboys. He was actually
Thanksgiving,
in Dallas on tour that week as well. I went to his actual show at American Airlines the week before that. His show was so awesome. It was a great show. It was so awesome, and having seen that show, a lot of people didn't get this because obviously they didn't see the show. They just saw the Thanksgiving one. I was disappointed when I saw the Thanksgiving halftime one because it was such an abbreviated version and such a just like he just stood there, didn't really do too much. Like he was so much more engaged. That's the thing with these halftime shows that sometimes suck is you don't get the feel of
In and
it
out.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah,
As
it's
to
so
your
quick.
point, they need more time. It's Super Bowl, man. Like they've literally taken over God's day of Sunday and have all of the country tuning in. Like, come on, man, give us some more time. All right, we'll move on though. Let's see. Total number of players to attempt to pass. Over 2.5, under 2.5. So under. I said over. Hear me out. Super Bowl. Trick play is going to happen. You know it is.
Yeah, but the Bengals and the Rams don't.
Cooper Kupp can throw one.
The Bengals and the Rams don't typically do that. I think OBJ can actually throw really well.
I get
but
that they don't typically do it, but it's a Super Bowl. You got to expect the unexpected. I feel like the Super Bowl and like playoff games and shit like that is when teams bring out the bag of tricks. You know,
If this was if it was the Cowboys, because they do those passes. There's a couple other teams that do it quite often. I just don't see anybody else throwing the ball unless it's like a dire situation where like the punter needs to throw the ball, but I don't see it happening.
Or if God forbid, one of the QBs go down, that could happen.
Yeah, if one of the QBs gets hurt, I mean
which with Joe Burrow's offensive line, I don't want to put that on him, but they have let him down before.
They'll be good.
But I put over. I'm expecting at least one trick play. It doesn't say he had to complete it; just said he's got to attempt it. So.
Maybe they will. Hey,
we'll see what happens.
More passing yards. That's an interesting one.
So I flip flop.
Stafford or Burrow.
So to answer this one, I'll also answer the question right after it. We have who will have the most passing yards and who's going to have the most rushing yards. Right? Those are
receiving. Oh yeah, rushing yards. Yeah,
rushing yards. So I took for passing yards. I took Matt Stafford. I think he's going to have more passing yards. I think that Joe Mixon is going to have more rushing yards. I think that the Bengals are going to rely on their run game to take away some of the pressure from their young QB. I think the Rams are going to want to rely on their veteran QB. But I think the Bengals are still going to win.
So it was funny. I thought the exact opposite.
It's funny how that works, man. I'm glad we've been on the same wavelength pretty much this whole day. I can't talk too much.
So for me, I mean, I think Joey B's gonna. I mean, just seeing his potential, like he can throw a lot of passing yards. They get a lot of yards. I can see Stafford getting bottled up and trying to force things, and then Cam Akers. I mean, to me, rushing yards is kind of unfair. I kind of did this a different way. I mean, obviously not for the prop bet, but I think Cam Akers is going to have more yards than Joe Mixon.
Mm-hmm.
It may not be a run, but I think he's going to have more yards because he does catch the ball out of the backfield. So
Gotcha.
But watching Cam Akers run recently, man, he looks so good.
He may.
And Mixon, man, when he struggles, he struggles.
Yeah, he's another feast or famine for sure, and that's fantasy football owners can relate to that. I know you can. You've taken him plenty of times for that.
Yeah.
And
speaking of fantasy football, I had Cooper Kupp this year, and he was awesome. More receiving yards. Kupp, Jamar Chase, or other. I have Chase on this one.
I took Jamar Chase as well, which is weird because I took Stafford for the most passing yards, right? But I figured if one of them loses, I got to have a winner somewhere.
I almost said other. Almost said other because I was thinking T. Higgins because if they double team Jamar Chase.
Yep.
But I don't think they're going to double team Jamar Chase.
I took Jamar Chase. I think that Stafford is maybe. I think Jamar Chase is going to get loose a little bit more on the offense than maybe Cooper Kupp. Because to your point earlier, like Cooper Kupp, he did have a lot of yards, but he does come up more so in the clutch situations, especially so.
He had a lot of yards throughout the season.
Yeah,
like he would consistently
playoffs not so much though.
But with the playoffs, he's been more situational, and it's because people have realized, oh crap, we got to actually cover this dude. But he's still done really well. I mean, he's not like it's not like he's not getting 90 or 100 yards. He is, but he's not getting his 160, 170 like he was in the season. All right, what's the next one?
What color will the liquid that's poured onto the winning head coach be?
I have no idea. I said orange because I think the Bengals are going to win, and I think they're freaking nerds, and they're going to have orange.
Fucking nerds. I said clear. It's going to be water. They got the water boy, high quality H2O.
Well, here you go. Here's conspiracy. Are they going to get what? Are the Bengals going to? So the Bengals are going to win. That's what we're saying. The Bengals are so cheap they don't even get Gatorade. They just have water.
It's not even a Gatorade jug. It's Powerade jug.
Oh my god!
It's cheaper.
No, they're gonna do water. Like it's cheaper, and it's gonna be tap water at that.
Yeah, LA tap water, right on hand.
I'm sure LA's got good tap water. I don't know. I don't even know. Where does LA even get water? There's an ocean, but there's salt. Where do they get their water? It's the desert.
Can't do it.
All right, next one.
Well, either team scored during the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. I said yes as well, and I think it's gonna be. I'm gonna go a step further. It's gonna be Evan McPherson draining the game winner.
Yeah. I think absolutely.
Yeah. And
I
then
think multiple scores in the fourth quarter, the second 2 minutes of the fourth quarter.
yeah, possibly you could see multiple, right? Like maybe like the Rams, throw to Cooper Cup, get a touchdown to go ahead, and by 3
3-pointer to
or by
win, yeah.
2 or by
Or
2.
tie it up and then
Yeah.
a little
Either
kick.
way, yeah, then go to overtime. I'm cool with that as well.
Yeah.
Who's gonna win the game?
Bengals. We already talked about that.
Joe
27-24.
Shiesty, get your gut ready.
27-24. I guess I'm gonna have to root for the Bengals because I'm calling it. But man, I don't mind rooting for either team.
Yeah,
That's weird saying because usually I have a team I pick.
Yeah, I'm with you on that because it's one of those like I want the Bengals to win. That's who I'm rooting for, but I really am like impartial to who wins at this point.
It's
I want a
rare
good
that I'm
game.
impartial.
Same.
I want a Bengals, not Bengals. I want a Bills Chiefs replay.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Like,
100%. I want
back,
this to
boom,
be.
boom, boom, boom.
I want this to be a 51-48 game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want it.
Speaking of,
but
we got the over/under next.
Over
That was
under
a good lead-in.
48.5 points. Yeah, I meant to do that, big dog.
Over.
I hit the over on that as well, man.
Is mine over? Yeah. Because I'm calling the over, so I have to say over.
Yeah, I'm over on it as well. And I
Barely,
think
though.
You're saying 27-24. I think that there's even more points gonna be scored. I'm gonna say
Don't think too hard, Dylan.
I'm trying. I'm gonna say 44-41.
Ooh.
I'm going to say there's no defense played whatsoever. I know that we talked about Von Miller, Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Trey Hendrickson on the Bengals side, who had 14 sacks, by the way, and was 5th in the league. I think neither one of them are going to stop anything because at the end of the day, they've got 3 good players on the Rams side, and they've got 1 really good one on the Bengals side and a bunch of great role players. At the end of the day, in the regular season, the Bengals were 17th ranked, and the Rams were 18th ranked in the NFL. So I think there's gonna be no defense played. I think that you can say, oh, their defenses were hot in the playoffs. We all see what happens when people sit off a week, which is what the Pro Bowl makes them do. This game's gonna be completely different than the way they've played in the playoffs all year. I feel just due to the fact that they've had that week layoff to get them out of their groove and shit like that. So I'm saying 44-41. Bengals in the last second, Evan McPherson. Obviously over. I'm going to hammer the under.
So MVP winner will be Stafford, Burrow, or other?
I said other.
I did too. Just pure statistics.
Yeah. Now, if the game ends up being 44-41, one of the quarterbacks is going to get it. There's no way you get that score without throwing 400 yards.
Unless it's all running. So
if it's all running, though, there's no way they get up to 44 points.
If the Rams win, it'll either be Aaron Donald or Von Miller. If the Bengals win, I think it's going to be one of the receivers.
The Bengals win, I think it's going to be Joe Mixon because I think again I think Joe Mixon's the X factor here, man. I think we talk about all the receivers, we talk about Joe Burrow, and I think that's where everybody's focus is, including the Rams. Therefore, that's going to leave some openings, I think, for Joe Mixon, and I think the Bengals X factor here is him, and if he performs well, in addition to the other players playing well, I think it's going to be a big game.
Well, do you think that there's a possibility of a Cincinnati defensive player winning it, just kind of being a dark horse?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I mean, say a corner or a safety gets 2 interceptions and changes the tide of the game, they could.
Maybe a Woozier.
Dude, Woozier been killing it.
Maybe. If there's going to be a defensive player, I think it's going to be Trey Hendrickson because he's going to end up giving fits to Matt Stafford back there.
He gets 2 sacks, 3 sacks, forced fumble.
That could be the way. That could be the way. I
Yeah.
think this game is going to be too high scoring for any defensive players to get it, though. I think that, like, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Jalen Ramsey, they're all great players, but I think it's going to be too offensive to give it to, any defensive players today. Yeah, I think if it's not Joe Burrow for the Bengals, then it's gonna be Joe Mixon. And I think I don't know why I'm putting so much like stock into Joe Mixon today. He hasn't done anything to like just blow me away. But I don't know. I just got this weird feeling, dude, that he's gonna come out and play lights out and be that veteran presence that they need.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the more tenured offensive players.
He's about the only tenured offensive player they got, you know?
Besides probably some guys on the O line and Tyler Boyd. Tyler
Yeah.
Boyd, I think Tyler Boyd has the captain
Yeah.
patch.
And don't get me wrong, Tyler Boyd is a tenured player. I just don't think he's a focal point enough. And he's a high focal point, but I don't think he's enough of a focal point to be able to pull that off. But who knows? To your point, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, maybe they get jammed up all game, and
And he's open.
he
in the
gets
middle of the
loose for
field.
maybe 2 touchdowns. Maybe.
Yeah, facts.
Maybe. It could
It's
happen.
gonna be a good game, man. I'm excited for it though. We'll see. I mean, it's gonna be fun.
I think it's going to be a good game as well, dude. I think we're all in store for a treat here. Man, I just can't wait for this game to get started, dude. I know you're doing the same. You got any like big plans for the day? Like you cooking out? You throwing down on the Traeger? What you doing, man?
Nah, not today. We've got a function I got to go to, and then they're gonna have the Super Bowl on for that.
Nice.
So
Functions that are functional, so that way you can watch the Super Bowl. I like it, man.
yeah, it's more like mandatory fun type stuff. But we'll at least there'll be some people there watching it, and whatnot.
Yeah.
So otherwise, I would have a couple steaks on the grill.
Hell yeah.
Or a brisket, something like that. But I'm
Hell
gonna
yeah.
save the brisket for next week. Or I'm not gonna cook the brisket because I don't know how
Hey.
to do it that well.
Hey. Also, do you have the time? That's a lot of time to cook that brisket.
Yeah.
But man,
Well, we'll buy some steaks when you head out this way.
hell yeah. I appreciate everybody tuning in, guys. Y'all make sure to go watch the Super Bowl today. If you don't watch the Super Bowl, I don't know what the hell you're doing with your life today. Watch it. Get back to us. Bengals winning. You heard it here first by 3.
Hey. Also, next week we got to talk about the best commercials, if there are any.
We will be talking about that. Next week we will have to may have to detach the computer and bring it on out to old land of the Shreveports. Have a little special episode from your place, man.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
Sounds good, man. Well, we'll see all of you guys next weekend. Appreciate y'all tuning in throughout the show. Y'all make sure to eat some good food today. Drink a lot of beer. Don't fucking drink and drive. And enjoy the game, everybody. Peace.